Hello viewers, we are going to see one topic for the subject object-oriented programming, and the topic is user-defined exceptions from the third unit. Objectives are to understand the user-defined exceptions in Java, to apply user-defined exceptions in Java programming. First of all, let us recall what is meant by exception. An exception is an unexpected event which may occur during the execution of the program, which will disrupt the normal flow of program's instruction execution. This will lead to abnormal termination of the program. Therefore, these exceptions are needed to be handled. In Java, we are having the exception handling mechanism by which we can handle the runtime errors so as to we can prevent the normal flow of program's execution. In Java, exceptions are of two types: built-in exceptions and user-defined exceptions. Built-in exceptions means there are several classifications of exceptions are defined in Java libraries. And user-defined exceptions means the user can create their own exception class which is derived from built-in class exception. That is, there is the basic class for exception in Java that is exception. That is the base class for exception handling. Exception class. So under the exception class, the user can create their own exceptions. That is called as user-defined exception. The exception class inherits all the methods from the class throwable. The throwable class is the superclass of all the errors and exceptions in the Java language. The exception class is defined under java.lang package. So when we create our own exception in our program, it must inherit exception class. The user-defined exception can be thrown using the throw keyword. Let us see the syntax for creating the user-defined exception. Class user-defined exception name extends exception. So in this way we have to define the class. Class user-defined name extends exception. And the throwable class having the following methods. Throwable fill in stack trace. This method is used to fill up the stack trace during the execution, and it will returns the throwable object. String get localized message. It will returns one message, that is, it will returns one description about the exception. String get message. It will also returns the description about the exception in the form of one message. Void print stack trace. It is used to display the stack trace. String to string. It is used to return the string object containing the description of the exception. Stack trace element get stack trace. It will return an array that contains the stack trace one element at a time as an array of stack trace element. Then the exception class have two constructors. First one is empty constructor, that is it will construct the new exception with null as its detailed message. That is, this is the constructor without any message. And second constructor is having the message as the parameter, which will construct the new exception with the message, that is with the specific detail about the exception. Now we are going to see how to define a user-defined exception derived from the exception class. So we are defining the class public class myException extends exception. So public string to string. This is the method which is used to override the method that will return the user-defined exception. Now under the main function we are creating the object for the class obj. Then under the try block we are having the customized exception, and in the try block we are having the customized exception, and we are throwing the exception, throw new myException. And in the catch block we are having the one statement, system.out.println exception handled E is the object exception object. E is the exception object. So simply this is the layout, some sample format for user defined exception. So in this statement we are having the customized exception that is arised from the try block that will be handled in the catch block. So as a result of the try block, the catch block will be executed, and we will get the message, we will get the statement in the output like exception handled, and E is the exception message. The exception message will be provided by the string to string method. Actually the message is user defined exception. The message is user defined exception. Next we are going to see the user defined exception that tests for odd numbers. So here also we are creating an exception class odd number exception under the super class exception, and we are defining the default constructor odd number exception. Under the constructor we are calling the super method. Inside the super method we are providing the message odd number exception. Okay, so and the parameterized constructor odd number exception having the message and the value of the message is odd number exception, and we are calling the super in the construct. Under the constructor we are calling the super method with the parameter as message. Now we are having the main class and the main method. Under the main method we are going to read one number. For that we are creating the scanner object. With the help of the scanner object we are reading one number, that is num equal to integer parse int of sc dot next line. This is the method to read one number. The number will be stored into the variable num. Next we are going to check for the number whether the number is odd number or even number. We are doing this process in the try block. So if num or 2 not equal to 0, that means that number is odd number. If the number is odd, it arises an exception, that is odd number exception. If else, if the number is not odd, then we will have the println statement, that is the given number will be displayed as the number is an even number. Now in the catch statement we are having the system.out.println. So this statement is printing this error plus ex dot get message. Actually ex is the object for the odd number exception, and get message will take the message from the odd number exception. Previously we have in the constructor of the super method we provide the message to the constructor. The message was odd number exception. Now in the catch statement the particular message will be printed along with the statement error. So as the execution of the program, enter a number, we will give one number, so the number is odd, so the particular exception will be thrown, and as a result of the execution of the catch block we will get the output statement like error odd number exception. Odd number exception is the error message that we define during the constructor definition. That message will be retrieved with the help of the statement ex dot get message. Ex is the object for our user defined exception, that is our odd number exception, and the message was odd number exception that will be printed. Now the possible university question in this topic is explain user defined exceptions in Java with example program. Thank you all.